Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Israel Brief, brought to you by Lay of the Land, where we bring you those top stories making headlines every Monday to Thursday. And it has been a very, very busy news week with all the news coming in from Afghanistan following the retreat or pullout by the American and Allied forces earlier this week. So let's catch up with the latest headlines. The Taliban have given their first press conference in what is being dubbed Taliban 2.0. The Taliban spoke to the world media saying that women will be safe under Sharia law. They will have the right to education, at least until university level. They will not seek to harm any soldiers or any officials or anybody who worked with the former Afghan government. They will allow for a free media. You know, it all sounds very kumbaya. And those of us who analyze the region are watching this, looking at this, thinking perhaps in their haste to get international recognition, the Taliban are playing a very, very slick media game, trying to pull the wool over many people's eyes. But it is actions that speak louder than words. And we've already had reports coming in from Kabul airport of people being whipped and beaten by the Taliban. Reports of at least one woman murdered for not wearing the burqa. Earlier today, a monument that was built to a militia person killed by the Taliban was destroyed, and reports coming in, harrowing reports of rape gangs going from house to house. Anybody who has worked with officials being put on a list, and Taliban fighters, so to speak, taking the young women from families to be their wives. So they can have whatever slick media charm offensive they want. It's going to be down to the actions and down to whatever policies they implement. Many of us are very, very skeptical following the harrowing years that the Taliban were in power. Meanwhile, something very interesting happened on Israeli television last night. In their melee to try and get into the media, the Taliban English spokesperson managed to get through to Roy Kaisi. He is a Arab desk reporter for Kan Broadcasting. A very, very interesting interview indeed. I don't think he realized that he was speaking to an Israeli, and of course just reiterating more of what the Taliban said in their press conference. Meanwhile, the country's last remaining Jew, his name is Zevulon Simantov, says that he will remain in his home. There is great concern for the treatment of minorities under the Taliban 2.0, and we will be following the story. But for more coverage of what's going on in Afghanistan, we have a number of articles going up on our website. We have 2 up already, another one coming later today. Please check it out. I'll give you that website address a little later on the brief. Meanwhile, everybody has been asking the question, why has Israel not responded to the rocket that was fired earlier this week from the Gaza Strip into Israel and was intercepted over the town of Sderot? The firing of this rocket effectively breaks the ceasefire that has been in place following Operation Guardians of the Wall that took place during May. Now, Prime Minister Bennett has weighed in. He says that Israel will respond and will strike back when and if we think is appropriate. He says at a time and a place that suits us. And Channel 13 reporting that discussions are underway how best to strike back while not escalating. Meanwhile, Benny Gantz, our defense minister, and Naftali Bennett are meeting with Egyptian intelligence officials to discuss how best to let in aid from Qatar into the Gaza Strip without it falling into Hamas's hands, but benefiting the people who it is intended for. And our last story of the day takes us to the fires that surrounded Jerusalem, the hills of Jerusalem, over the last couple of days. They are reportedly under control. people have started returning to their homes, and sadly what is left of them. And yesterday we brought you the story of the incredible cooperation between Palestinian and Israeli firefighters working side by side to contain the fires. And yesterday Benny Gantz, the defense minister, taking to Twitter to formally thank President Mahmoud Abbas, saying this is what we can achieve when we work to improve the lives of each other. Those are our top stories making headlines. Don't forget to check back tomorrow for a roundup of the top stories making headlines tomorrow. Meanwhile, please check out our website at www.layoftheland.com, our Facebook page at Lottle Site. Please join our growing community there by liking or following. And don't forget to share this broadcast. It really helps us to get news from Israel that you won't see in the mainstream media out to as many people as possible. We're on YouTube. If you're watching us on YouTube, please click on that red subscribe button and don't forget to share us. And if you are on Twitter, you can find us at Lay of the Land 5. That's at Lay of the Land 5. I'm Rolene Marks. This is the Israel Brief, and we look forward to seeing you again tomorrow.